going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of Bleeves. Please put your shirt back on. What are you doing? Spoiler alert, I'm not wearing any clothes, and I'm going to stay naked until we get 1,000 views on this show. So you better buckle up. You better grab your lotion or your oil or whatever it is that you use, because it's going to get sticky icky in here if you don't get more viewers. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in, or you can tune out. If you do, I'm going to miss you because I think you're awesome. Not you. No, you. Yeah, you. You're a rock star. Anyway, here comes the intro. After the intro, we're going to get into the news. We're going to talk about what's going on in the crypto market, and we're all going to get rich. So strap in, strap on, do whatever it is you do. Whatever you do is perfect. You're awesome. Let's go.
It's your boy Bleeves. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
All right, everybody, if you are with me on the Tau trade, let's talk about the Tau trade first. We continue to DCA. As you can see here from the chart, I bought a little bit more yesterday, and I bought a little bit more this morning, just a few short hours ago. We're at the 9 o'clock hour, which means we've minted a new candle here. We're on the hourly as we look at it right now. So you can see at 7 a.m. this morning, I made another buy. It was around 246, I want to say. So we're down a little bit underwater on that, but I like the trajectory so far. The problem with it is we're kind of rejecting right now at 250 exactly. And that's where we need that next big lift and that next big leg up. But we haven't seen it happen yet. And on the slower charts, on those 15 minutes, where we get a breakdown of what's going on every quarter hour, it really, like, here we are right here. You can see as the U.S. market came online this morning, as we got into USA, that's where the sell down came from. So it could be that Donald Trump is doing something ridiculous in the markets again. I don't know. In fact, we're waiting for more information about the U.S.-Iran negotiations. Are there any U.S.-Iran negotiations? Did Pakistan do something, anything to make it happen? Let's check it out right now, as a matter of fact. I'll get back to the trade in just a few moments. U.S.-Iran update: conflict may resume as ceasefire nears expiry. And what does it look like? Well, we can just pop in Iran right here and see how it goes. And Trump says he's not want to extend the ceasefire as uncertainty remains over peace talks. So he wants to get back to bombing this sovereign nation again because, as we understand now, we didn't understand it when we voted, but we do understand right now the Republican Party is the party of war. Don't believe me? How many countries have we bombed in the last year? 9. That's an all-time record, by the way. The previous record was set by, I want to say it was Barack Obama in bombing 8 nations, or maybe it was 7 nations. Maybe Donald Trump is the #1 president again at another category that kind of sucks. You know, I don't know I don't know exactly. I believe it was 7, but you know, I could also have been 8, but it is definitely 9 now. So Donald Trump has bombed more countries in 1 year than any other president in history. So again, record-setting Donald Trump, right? That's what we're looking for. Setting the records, Donnie. Setting the records. So anyway, back to it. We've got the Iran war will drive the Gulf petrodollar capital flight to Hollywood. What is that going on? Oh my God, that is crazy. But Trump says he's ready to resume bombing Iran if talks don't continue. And by the way, Iran makes a lot of silly videos of Donald Trump every single day. They made him a child in the latest one where he's like pointing at the map and stuff like that. Like, they really are having fun with it. I don't like them doing it to my president, but they are kind of funny. And you should be able to at least back up and say, well, you know what? Donald Trump is my guy, but also this is actually pretty funny. So we should at least be able to do that. Like, we can, right? Like, it's not weird, right? I'm not weird. You're weird, right? We can agree that. You're weird, not me. Anyway, I'm not shirtless. You're shirtless. You know what I mean? Anyway, so we'll see what happens here. U.S.-Iran update. As we get more information, we're going to know. But also, $3.3 trillion capital groups, ANCFX fund buys $747 million in MicroStrategy stock. Why did they do that? Because MicroStrategy is up super mad bigly. As a matter of fact, they are in profit again. Remember, their DCA was somewhere in the neighborhood of around 72,900. They currently hold, I want to say, 828,000 Bitcoin. Matter of fact, I don't know what the exact number is. How did I come on unprepared with the exact number to this moment, to this hour of what they're holding? Boom, 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 boom. Their DCA is 72,900, but 815,061 right now. That's how much Bitcoin they own. Valued, they acquired it. Look at this, $61.56 billion. The current market value, $62.27 billion, which means that they're up almost $1 billion. They're sitting right now at an unrealized profit of $710 million. Is that enough for you? No, probably not. Probably not. When it goes back up to, where we at last time, 125,000 Bitcoin, we go back to 125,000 Bitcoin. I want you to just imagine the 40 to 50 billion dollars of profit that they have generated. Like, would that not be some insane sort of numbers? By the way, at 125,000 the next time around, I got a feeling that MicroStrategy is probably going to exit. Also, I do want to say for the record that we are in the United States, we have reached what could be called a crisis mode. Crisis mode is this: 33% of all of the U.S. debt is coming due this year. Now, what does that ultimately mean? Well, it doesn't mean a whole lot because the debt will probably get refinanced. Here's the problem with it, okay? And this is why Donald Trump has been so adamant that the Fed rate has to come down, because the U.S. as a borrower, in order to extend that debt, which, by the way, is somewhere in the neighborhood of about $13 trillion. If we're going to extend debt for $13 trillion, what we need is we need a lower interest rate. However, with the interest rate currently setting at around 3.75%, that means that if we finance the debt, even if we're doing it at maybe 0.25 or a very low percentage, it's still going to be 4% on $13 trillion. That is an enormous amount of expense at the taxpayers' feet, for lack of a better description. So what Donald Trump was looking to do was get that Fed rate down below 1%, or at least a couple of points to give the United States some breathing room. Jerome Powell, to his discredit, is like, no, we're going to stick with the rates the way that they are. And I understand why. I'm not even complaining about that portion. I hope that it's lower. I want it to be lower. I think that, some of the things that we've done have made it more difficult. But at the end of the day, here's what matters. The ability of the U.S. to refinance its debt so that it doesn't have to make all of those gigantic payments of trillions of dollars right now is what we're looking to do. We do that and we're in good shape. But again, if we have to pay a high interest rate because the Fed has rates so high, we're going to be screwed. Has to be done by the end of this year, by the way. So we're going to be watching for that. That's why I think Kevin Warsh is a great selection from Donald Trump for the Fed, because he's going to start reducing those rates at an aggressive sort of clip. But we also know that Jerome Powell, by the way, who, if Jerome Powell were here today, you know what he would say? He would say, hit that like button, nerd, hit it. Come on. Why are you watching a guy with no shirt on? What's going on over here? What are you guys doing? Why does everybody have baby oil? What is going on here? Something like that. I'm not sure exactly what he'd say, but my point is he would probably have a little bit of fun with it. But the point is that I think he's going to stay on the board as one of the governors. So he'll be voting against rate cuts. It's going to be wild. It's going to be some wild times in this market. Okay, it's going to be some absolutely wild times. Let's get back into what else is going on. We also have the Clarity Act, and we've got two pieces of news on the Clarity Act. One, which feels good because it says Clarity Act gets pushed as Senate Banking Committee receives a letter to advance the markup. The letter to Chairman Tim Scott and Ranking Member Elizabeth Warren urged action as soon as the calendar allows. By the way, if you're wondering why the banking committee doesn't seem to be moving on this legislation. I think you might have found it right here. Remember, when there is somebody out here who is for the banks, who thinks that everything is fine in America and that everything is working as intended, it's Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren. So this makes perfect sense right now. The statement is signed by CEO Cody Carbone, spotlighted the urgency. It stated that it has been more than 270 days since the House passed the Clarity Act with strong bipartisan support. The Digital Chamber also said that lawmakers are already more than halfway through the 119th Congress. And what they're doing is they're holding on to people like Liz Warren, people in the Senate. This, again, let's just go back and take one step back. This already went through the House. They've already approved it. The only thing left is the Senate and then to the president's desk. Now, the Senate has dramatically altered the bill, as they do. And once they finish, then it goes back to the House. House is going to pass it, but it's got to be done while Republicans control this, while Republicans control all three houses right now. So if they don't do that, they're going to be screwed. And by the way, based on the way that Donald Trump is handling world events right now, the way he's handling new wars and he's pushing us into more and more and more and more conflict, that is a violation of MAGA and everything that he has espoused for a long period of time. So, and how do you push back at Donald Trump when you don't get what you're looking for? When you voted for Republicans, when you gave him the majority that he needed in order to pass the legislation that he wanted. What do? Well, you vote Democrat. That's what happens. Enough people are going to vote Democrat that Republicans are going to lose control. They're going to lose control because they're not doing a great job. Number one, they need to be doing a better job of executing the president's plan. But number two, the president's going to have to do a better job of not going into war because, hey, listen, I understand Trump is president, but he's not president of Israel. Do we not see this yet? He's not president of Israel. And by the way, if you're one of the cult members, if you're one of those people, everything he says is like 5-9-day chess and, all that stupid shit that you say in your brain or out loud where people can actually see and they can point and laugh at you. If you're saying all that kind of stuff, then ask yourself, why is it okay? Why is it okay to protect Israel? That's really what this is, right? We didn't go to war because we had to do something with Iran. That is not what happened at all. And if you are being told that, that's revisionist history. They're lying to you. The reason that we did this is because Israel wanted us to get in on it because Israel was going to do it anyway. So stop with your pretend. Stop looking at these Nigerian influencers like Eric Doherty and people like that and their lies to you and start looking at the fact that everybody who's educated, everybody who's been through the ringer, if you will, they're all out right now of MAGA. Your Candace Owenses, your Tucker Carlsons, your Alex Jones. Alex Jones calling for the 25th Amendment to be invoked. That means that the president is unfit for office. Okay, that's where we are. Evan Kilgore, one of the second largest MAGA influencer, gone. Laura Loomer is just bragging about giving the president a Hummer. I mean, that's where we are in this right now. Get on the right side of history, guys. That's all I'm saying. Get on the right side of history. Donald Trump, start working for the American people. Stop working for the Israeli people. That's all. Now, the organization was appreciative of the Senate Banking Committee's extensive work on the Clarity Act. It was also grateful that the committee is prepared to consult industry stakeholders, but it claimed that transitioning to markup is the clearest way to carry that work into the next phase of the legislative process. Now, what are they trying to not do? What they're trying not to do is do all of the bank's work. And what do the banks want? That's the question. Banks want no yield on stable coins. Why do they not want yield on stable coins? Because they don't want to give you your money back. They want you to deposit your money in the bank and then they want to give you nothing for it. They want you to just be happy that I'm giving money to a bank. And then the bank is going to use their money in order to loan it out to other people so that the bank stays liquid and continues to earn money. That's what they're looking to do. That's the way that's the grift. That's the game. Remember, back in the old days, they would give you 3 to 5% interest. You could actually live off of the interest of $1 million and live a comfortable life 30 years ago. Did you know that? Today, if you put $1 million in the bank, you're going to get like 1% interest if you get that. Used to be 4 or 5%. Just let that sink in. Like, that's insane. That is insane. The banks are keeping all of this money and they're acting like they're acting like the good guys in this. The banks are not the good guys. They're never the good guys. Okay? They're not. And by the way, the biggest problem that the banks say is that, well, how are we going to be able to lend out money if people aren't making deposits? Well, borrow it from a stablecoin lender. The lending is still going to be the same. We're pretending. This is performative. I hope you guys are seeing that. And I hope you're talking to your congressman. I hope you're writing letters. I hope people are starting to see the forest through the trees. In a post on X, Taylor Barr, Government Affairs Director at the Digital Chamber, wrote that clarity cannot wait. However, he acknowledged that the Clarity Act still needs some inputs. He said, there is still work to be done, but that work can be done and should continue as the legislative process moves forward. Now, this is where it gets interesting because Tom Tillis is one of the Republicans that if you were to take a photograph of Donald Trump, Tom Tillis would be standing there like this. Okay, that's who we're talking about right now. If we're talking about the president of the United States, Tom Tillis is on his knees, like standing there just like this right now, saying, "Great idea, Mr. President. Great idea. Great idea." Okay, that's who he is. But for some reason, the banks have him on the ropes right now. Senator Tom Tillis told SBC Chair Tim Scott the panel should not advance the Clarity Act in April. He stated, "We need to be looking at May as a markup time." On Monday night, Tillis told reporters he does not expect the Senate Banking Committee to mark up the crypto structure bill in April. "It's very important to me not to accelerate things, to hear everybody, give them a rational basis for what we do accept." So he claims negotiators need more time to finalize a compromise between banks and crypto regarding stablecoin yields. He signaled a potential Clarity Act markup in mid-May. Now, all he's doing is slow walking everything so that it doesn't happen. This is called the poison in the well. This is the guy who is trying to, and by the way, notably, let's check this out. Tom Tillis played a key role in a compromise effort between banks and crypto companies to restrict stablecoin yields. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in, by the way. So what do we make of that? All right, let's see what's going on in chat before we go any further. I'm here for the gun show. There you go, baby. Good thing I only listen to the audio. What do you mean, good thing you only listen to the audio? Come on now. All right, Gay Tuesday. That's fair. I was going to turn the rest of the Gen Z people along with... Maybe. Bleeves thinks he's going to lose only because of the war. It's not only because of the war. It's because of the way that he's treating the American people. And listen, there's people who are going to be never Trumpers, but the people who do like Donald Trump, they outweigh the people that really despise Donald Trump. The more pragmatic people who said, I've got a binary choice. Is it going to be Donald Trump or is it going to be Kamala Harris? I mean, look, whether you like it or not, it really doesn't matter. And Derek Hines says, Ukraine, well, funding Israel. Yes, Biden did that. Yeah, there is a difference here, though, by the way. And Derek Hines is, again, if you're in the cult, you're in the cult. Put your grease paint on, put your big red nose on, you're MAGA. I get it. United States doesn't have boots on the ground in Ukraine. United States is selling arms to Ukraine so that Ukraine can fight for themselves. And when we say that we're giving them hundreds of millions of dollars, it's in used resources. We're not sending them giant trucks full of cash. So when you say that, you sound like you don't know what's going on. Because in the Ukraine, we're selling arms. In Israel, we're actually bombing Iran for Israel. So if you're going to come with a statement here, at least be honest about your statement. Give me a break. Give me a fucking break. And in fact, Ukraine has been good for the United States, not in terms of getting involved in their conflict with Russia or their war, but we take all of our used military equipment and we send it to them almost as a loan, if you will. We're giving aid to Ukraine in military weapons. And what does that mean? It means that the United States then has to go to the presses and start printing more guns. I mean, we're using printers now, right? We use like metal printers. We don't like print. We don't make guns anymore. Anyway, new tanks. We give tanks to Ukraine. Guess what? We got to build more tanks. Lindsey Graham, Southern Belle of South Carolina. He's in an area where they build that kind of stuff. So we're actually creating jobs when we're just giving our used resources to the Ukraine. But we're not giving used resources to Israel. We're bombing another country for Israel. So, yeah, work through that. Anyway, increased lobbying efforts by banks and the nomination for Kevin Warsh may delay the markup of the crypto market structure bill until May. So there could be some delays. Okay, there could be some delays happening. Hopefully there won't be, but I mean, again, this is why we train, right? So let's move on here. MicroStrategy stock prices could hit 200 by May as Strategy's Bitcoin gains jump 82% in 1 week. As we saw, we just talked about it. They're up $710 million in profit over the last 30 days in their Bitcoin holdings. Huge number right now. By the way, Michael Saylor, come on, man. Give me 10 Bitcoin. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Fed Chair nominee Kevin Warsh vows Fed independence, not to end independence, but vows Fed independence despite Trump's push for rate cuts. And by the way, this is just a guy saying what needs to be said in order to get the nomination. Whether he is more or less likely to do rate cuts and stuff like that, it's not on President Trump. But President Trump is picking a guy that he believes understands fundamentally the nature of the markets the same way that Donald Trump does, okay? Not the same way that Jerome Powell does, who in fact typically sides with Elizabeth Warren, and we all know who that is, and we all know what she does, right? So Kevin Warsh commits to Fed independence amid Trump pressure. According to a Bloomberg report, Kevin Warsh is committed to protecting the Fed's independence if he succeeds Jerome Powell. I am committed to ensuring that the conduct of monetary policy remains strictly independent. Okay. However, the Fed chair nominee also noted that monetary policy independence is earned and that the U.S. central bank can make better policy decisions when it steers clear of distractions. The Fed's independence has become a major talking point over the last year, with President Trump urging Powell to lower rates on several occasions. Okay. By the way, he can do that. And now the Department of Justice did open an investigation into the Fed with Jerome Powell. And the Fed chair claims that the DOJ probe was due to the Fed's refusal to lower rates during the president's preference. Now, there's no information, nothing that shows that this is a conspiracy. It is, but there's nothing that proves it. So, fingers crossed that something happens here. But May 15th, less than a month from now, is Jerome Powell's final day. It's worth noting that the Fed chair also said in his remarks that he doesn't believe that comments from elected officials about interest rates threatens the operational independence of monetary policy. It doesn't. If the president is asking for rate cuts, he can ask for rate cuts. Doesn't mean that you have to give them to him, but it does mean that you could or you could not. It doesn't mean that he can't make that statement. He can do whatever it is that he thinks he can do out loud. I mean, so we'll see whether or not that matters any. So the CME FedWatch tools really right now is predicting no rate cut right now, predicting no rate cut all the way down. Let's see. So right now we're plugged in through 2027 with almost a 50% chance in September of a rate cut. But right now, no chance of a rate cut. We're seeing 39 to 40% towards the end of the year right now on the FedWatch tool. So we shall see whether or not something happens that helps us. Now, major cryptocurrency market events to watch before the end of April. On April 28th and 29th, FOMC is going to meet in Washington to decide the next monetary policy, strongly indicating that the officials will keep the interest rates at 3.5, 3.75. Policymakers' hawkish communication may strain risky assets such as cryptocurrency and tech shares. And we're starting to see people, matter of fact, one of the guys that I told you about before, Dr. Profit right now is shorting 100 different altcoins because he believes that the next leg down is about to start. And I think he was difficult to predict, obviously. But remember the old statement, sell in May and walk away? Well, it's the end of April. So, yikes. Crypto market is about to take it hard, in my opinion. Senate Banking Committee is under pressure to get the markup discussions of the Clarity Act started. So they're trying to make all this stuff. And by the way, the hearings of the Federal Reserve Chair nominee Kevin Warsh are also priority for the committee before the week of April 27. Lawmakers will have to determine whether to formally proceed with the bill. So we're at gut check time, so we'll see what happens. The fear and greed index is still in fear again for the longest recorded time. We've been in fear for I want to say 4 months now. For 4 straight months, we've been in the fear area, but we are getting close to neutral. We haven't been in neutral for a very, very long time. Sitting at 34 today. This is actually the highest number that we've had since where are we at here? January 27. This is the highest area that we've been. Oh, actually, let's go back over here. Boom, 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 boom. Right. January 19. Since January 19. So it's been a long time that we've been in the bearish, most bear part of all of this. Doesn't mean we're not going down further, by the way. But it does mean that the market has been absolutely spooked. Yesterday on Bitcoin ETF, we had inflows of another 238 million, meaning that people are still doing they thing, dog. Ethereum had inflows of 68 million. I suspect we're going to see outflows today, by the way. Just the way this is all lining up. For Solana, we had inflows totaling 3 million. And for XRP, we had inflows totaling 3 million as well. So all inflows yesterday, a positive market yesterday. Little bit of sell-off might be happening today. We're at what, 9? We're almost at 9:30 right now. This is when we really get to see what's going to happen next. In the meantime, Pendle's up 5%, Luna Classic's up 5%, Zcash is up 5%. By the way, Luna Classic is 3 days away from the next big upgrade to their ecosystem, the SDK 0.53. Should happen in short order. Arrow down 2%, so we don't really have a path. I don't see anything breaking out in terms of the few resources that we have right now. So we'll see. Night is up 3% on the day. I think Night really underwhelmed a little bit. So, would like to have seen more out of it. Just going to say that. Also, in the little meme coin section of the world where we're watching, Dev is up 14% on the day, having another move to the upside. But this move to the upside is only for that short period of time. We've already run up into this range before. I don't know. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have like a breakout or a break above, but I suspect that if we do, should that happen, that we should see a move to the 236 off of this range. The price at that point off of the 236 from that range or range, as we say, boom, boom. 0.053 cents. So I think we should see a rally to roughly 5.5 cents. I don't know that we're going to have a breakout. Tom's on vacation. He did respond to me yesterday. By the way, full disclosure, just so you guys understand and so you know, I did pitch and he did agree, or at least it looks like he agreed, that we're going to have myself, Tom, and Will Stewart on at the same time. So if you're a dev holder, if you're interested in what's going on, by the way, I should have a shirt by that time. 1,000 views is what we're looking for. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. If you're watching, watch on 3 different devices at the same time. Put me in stereo so that you can like, woohoo, you know what I mean? So anyway, so I think that Dev is going to move to about 5.5 cents in short order, and maybe we'll see just a little bit of spike, a little bit of activity right there. But it's up 14% on the day. Volt is trading sideways on the day. Memelink trading sideways on the day. Definity down another 1% on the day. Fias is up 11% on the day. I was going to move into some Fias. I was going to grab a bag of Fias again when it got to 1 cent, but I didn't. I fooled myself on it, and now it's up 10% from there. Damn. Blocky's up 2.7% on the day. Roger, by the way, did reach out to me. He did watch the show yesterday, secretly lurking, if you will. He did talk to me, and you know, my numbers were slightly off. My numbers were slightly off. The land was worth $52 million, but the lawsuit for financial damages for not using the land for 17 years, the settlement, what he got, $530 million. That's the judgment against Honduras right now. $530 million judgment, because that includes all of the time that they have not been paid and compensated for their land that the government wants to steal from them. It's absolutely insane. So the government's going to have to offer a massive settlement to get them out of it. And look, they're going to want the price of the property at least. You know what I mean? So Roger probably going to have $50 to $100 million pretty soon. It's going to be absolutely insane. And what's he going to do with it? I don't think he's going to buy Blocky. Not in that context. By the way, let me just say that if that were to happen, my estimation was he wouldn't put the liquidity any more than maybe 100,000, just to make it look nice and juicy, to get some whales attracted. So you might be looking at maybe a 10x or something. Remember I told you that it would go to $1 million to $3 million to $5 million or something like that. Like, when I think about that, it would only cost him, if he got that money, it would only cost him, 100, 200,000 to put it at a $5 million market cap, and then use some of that cheddar to start to get listings on some major exchanges, create some volume, get a market maker, do a few little things right there, and then see if he can drive Blocky up to the $1 billion range just using marketing and proper strategy and putting it on exchange. It's just look, you should probably get yourself a bag of Blocky is all I'm saying. And then just sit on it for a little while and see what happens. I think you're at the bottom right now. Doesn't mean that you couldn't go lower. But I think Roger's probably holding the floor more than anybody else. I'm holding the floor. We're all kind of sitting here waiting for that next leg up, for something to happen there. So wouldn't be a bad idea. The Slay House. We don't talk about Slay House that much right now, but because they're kind of on pause waiting for that next opportunity, for the next for the market to kind of flip on itself into a positive. So I don't really have any news on that right now. I did talk to CC, and they are, again, they're just kind of on pause right now. So all you're seeing is like little minor trades and stuff like that. What they're doing is they're building their ecosystem. And their ecosystem, a lot of that is right here. So it's going to be at Slay House, I think it is. So at Slayer, by the way, if you didn't notice, Slayer is going to have a concert pretty soon. All right, Slay House Live, here we go. Slay House Live now has 16,000 followers. This video, I'm just going to go through the post here. This post has 7,600. This post just got done 79, 1.1K, 2.1K, 1.2K. There's guys out here paying attention to 1.6K on, I don't know who this is, Savannah Louise. 1.6K, 1.3K, 25,000 right here. They're getting attention. 5,000 right here. They're getting attention. Continue to keep getting attention. Slay House, the real card, lives here. Today's Major League Baseball pick. So, they're creating an ecosystem. They're building the ecosystem. They're drawing more attention to what they're doing. They're bringing new people to you. They're playing with each other's boobs on it. But 3,000 views. I mean, they're continuing to build. I do think, by the way, that they had a video with over 1 million views not that long ago. So I would be watching for, again, because it's so inexpensive right now to just grab yourself a little bag, because you never know what's going to happen. I would do that. And, if I go back over here, the highest that their market cap has been is around 67,000. So at 67,000, that's about a 5x from where you are right now. So going back at least to the all-time high would be a 5x. But I mean, just getting to a million market cap is right now about an 80x. 70x, 70x. So what do you got to lose? You know what I mean? You turn $100 into $7,000 because it goes to $1 million market cap. Like, what are we doing? And we've got thousands of people that are paying attention to them. So when the timing is right, I suspect that we're going to start to see some crazy stuff happen. I don't know for sure. I have no idea. But the liquidity, by the way, go look over here. The liquidity of Slay is almost the same as Blocky. Like, it's not that far off. 9,000, 9,500. So, and Blocky's got a 90,000 market cap. So, I mean, there's got to be a moment here where it starts to take off. So again, I'm not, no promises. I mean, you could get absolutely wrecked. I don't know, but I think that there's some opportunity right there. So let's go over here. Total value locked on the DEXs right now is finally starting to spike. Ethereum 2.6, base is 1.19. Solana tanked down to 1 billion. Solana is down big time, but the move looks to be over to Ethereum. If you take these numbers into consideration, you're at 5 billion right now. When you add in BSC, you're at 6 billion, which means that the reversal is underway. Remember, it was 4 the other day. Now it's back up to 6 billion. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see some kind of big move there. Now, in the meantime, we had that correction back to the downside. We're on the 15-minute chart right now for Tau, and we're starting to see that upward momentum one more time. Let's see if we get back up into this 250 range. Do we get rejected off of 250? I don't know the answer to that just yet. But we go back to the total market cap. Market's up 12.5 billion on the day. Let's not talk about that. Let's get into what matters the most. And by the way, I don't know what I did to my stuff over here yesterday. I put it under different color schemes and stuff like that because I screwed something up. Like, I was completely and utterly screwing this thing. It's just so bad. Anyway, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, and like, this one shouldn't be here. It should be like, I completely destroyed what I thought I was doing here. So anyway, Bitcoin is at 76,227 right now, bouncing strongly off the 100 MA on the 1 hour chart. So what is the upward momentum there? Well, the upward momentum would be a test of the top of the range, which right now is sitting right there at 78,300. So if we're looking for a top, if we're looking for a place where we can have a nice little move and a rally, right there seems to be the place. Now on the bottom, 200 MA is the one that you're looking for. So our range for today is boom, 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 boom. Oh, man, God damn it. Let's get rid of that. Boom, 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 boom. Target right now is 77,291. The upward momentum, the downward momentum would be at 75,269. I don't think that's going to work. I think we're looking at a little bit higher range here. I think this is probably up into that area right there. This is going to be down into this area right there. That's what I think it's going to really look like. So question right now is, are we going to surge and splurge, or are we going to dump and reverse? I don't know. Anyway, so Bitcoin, I'm looking at a move. By the way, we absolutely called this the other day. Don't forget that we are legend, wait for it, Hadari. When it came down to it, we bid 67,000. We got in at 67,000, and guess what? Boom, we got that big spike from there. So we're going to remove that right now. We got our DCA down here. We're going to get rid of that right now. And guess what? If you got in with me at that 67,000, by the way, let me say that I didn't enter at 67,000. I went full in on Tau. So at 67,000, which was the number I gave you, guess what? You're at 76,340 right now. If you were to take your profit, ain't nobody going to be mad at you. Now, if you did that at a 5X, that's 13.89%. So you're up 70% right now. So if you have $1,000 that you longed Bitcoin with at the $67,000 range that I gave you before, if we hit the bid right there, that means that you're up 70% at this point. So your $1,000 is now $1,700. I would recommend, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I would recommend you go ahead and take your $1,000 out right now and lock in your original investment. And now you have $700 worth of Bitcoin sitting in a range right now that I think is going to go to 80,000. Then when it goes to 80,000 or 78,360, as we're saying on the chart right now, when it goes up into that range, take your profit again. take your profit again, because the move in that range would end up being where we at 76,390 all the way up to 80,000 would be another 4.5% at a 5x leverage. That's another 20%. 20% on 700 is 140. So you get another 140 bucks. By the end of this, you'd have $1,840 off of your $1,000 just because you listened to the old Bleevosaurus Rex a couple of days ago when you got 67,000 on Bitcoin and you got that opportunity right there. So if you made money, good shot. Ethereum, same thing is playing out. Remember, what we did was we did our bid. Our bid for our long was 2,070. And where are we at right now? We did DCA, by the way, just in case we had that DCA, and we hit the DCA. So if you got it, then your DCA, and if you did it the way I said to do it, 2,070, and then you had 2,040 as your secondary bid right there, then you're 2,055, 2,055, and you are currently sitting at 23.35, which means that you are up from here to here around 13%. So you're up 65% on your investment right now. Again, for $1,000, you'd have $650 in profit right now. Go ahead and take it. Go ahead and take it. Leave your 650 in. If 650 runs up to the top of where I think it's going to go, which is going to be 2,500, that's going to be another 7.5%. So that 7.5% times 5 is going to be another 35%. So 35% of 650 is going to be about $200. So by the end of this, you're going to have $1,840. So everything that we picked, everything we chose, by the way, is playing out to perfection. If you're not making money in this market, that's on you, boo-boo, because the money is out there. All you have to do is make the plays. By the way, you don't have to do it because I said, okay? You do it because of what I said, and then you go look at your own research and you say, you know what, I agree with this assessment or I disagree with this assessment. My assessment so far, been right. So, fingers crossed that we continue to see that. And don't forget, by the way, that we already broke out on our ICP to the point that we didn't get our bid at 210, but remember we were looking for it right here. And I said, you know, you didn't get in, you can still get in at like 220 or something like that. The ask was 265. Guess what? We hit over 265 all the way up to 270. So we won the trade. We won the trade. Chainlink, we didn't do anything on. Tau, again, we got problems here with Tau. Tau did break down. We didn't get this one right. So we only take so many victory laps before we find one that just didn't work out. BitTensor still looking a little bit weak. Still not looking, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a massive reason for a recovery, and I just haven't seen it on the chart yet. We're looking at this on the 1 hour, by the way. The only bright spot that you can give is, and remember, we had movement to the upside right here. Really looks like it was kind of sideways action more than it was an uptrend, but we had this little short recovery uptrend right there, did not sustain. So now we're looking at this bottom over here, right there, so right there. It's establishment of an uptrend. Problem is this still looks like just a major downtrend. Like doesn't look like we're popping at all. Does not look like we've got any kind of, we're not moving really fast and really hard in any specific good uptrend direction right now. We're at best kind of moving sideways. That to me is a leg down. Now, the good part of it is if we take off this area right here, we get rid of that. And if you want bullish, guess what? You can look at it from this to here. That's the top. Those are the two tops right there. Then down here, you got this. So we're in a downtrend. With a downtrend, that's where your breakouts end up happening, right? Because now you're just testing lows to find your quote unquote generational bottom. And generational bottom, this range of activity that we're in is kind of right here, is kind of right there. So it looks like we found support. And from that support line, maybe we'll spring is a little bit lower. That 275, 276 range right there, that 270 is going to be real tough to get over. As you can see, we've already broken through with this little retest right here at 270, we already broke through the bottom little area of this range where a lot of the early sellers set themselves. We didn't continue that momentum, so there's going to be new buyers or new sellers that step in at that 270 mark. Even me, I'm looking at 280 as my mark. I think, did I set 280? I think I set 280, yeah, as my mark. So, you know, it would take a nice little break above, and what we would need is we would need that big wick that just kind of shines up right through here, clearing out all of that so that we can come back down for that test, and then we get that breakout to 300. And what we know right now about Tau is that what Sam Dare said was all lies. That Sam Dare did not know what he was talking about, that Sam Dare was making it up, and that he scammed with Covenant AI $10 million from his own investors. That's what we know so far. And we know that Const has been out here publicly on the daily talking to people, trying to let people understand and know exactly what's going on without saying too much about his relationship with Sam Dare. So what we do know is that the bad actor was Sam Dare. Now, and by the way, Covenant AI has been rebuilt with other people have already stepped in and have already fixed it on Covenant AI. So nice. So Sam Dare is not missed. Not right now, anyway. Not right now. We'll see what happens on that later on. So that's going to be it. That's the show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's pop into the chat. I still have not gotten myself. You know what? Let's do it right now. Let's do chat scene. Let's pop. What do I want here? I want this camera. All right. So we're going to take this video capture device and we're going to copy it over into the chat scene right there. And now we're playing with power. All right. So grabbed a little Fias today. Trust wallet wouldn't let me use Uniswap site to work. I think it's got some problems in that it just doesn't have a high liquidity and it doesn't have a large range right now. But again, I just think that Fias is one of those things that if you just have a little, scalp it a bit, let it run a little bit, take your profit along the way, add to your bag DCA. I think it's going to pop before Dev does, and I'm not holding any, by the way, right now. I'm not holding any Fias. So I don't know what's going to end up happening there. But that's it. That's the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. But the goal is 1,000. If we don't get to 1,000, then you just got naked ass Bleeves every single day, right? You just got naked ass Bleeves. Not only do you have naked ass Bleeves. Wait, I'm gonna show you guys how brutal this is going to be. This is what we're gonna do, okay? And by the way, don't get turned on by the pictures. You know what I mean? Yeah, what I mean. That's Jacob Fatou for you. Just going to give you a treat here. This is what you're going to get on the thumbnails if we don't get to 1,000. This is what you're going to get on the thumbnails if we don't get to 1,000. So we need 1,000. We need 1,000 viewers every single day on these videos. So if you want to help me, the easiest way that you can help me is signing up at KCEX and starting trading today, or Weeks starting trading today. Buy yourself some Definity. Go to terracasino.io. Start doing your risk-based gaming at terracasino.io. If you're trading Terra Luna Classic, trade it at Terraport. All of these things help me to provide you with information and content every single month. And then trackmytrades.ai if you are looking to track all of your trades and know what your profit margins are up and down the block. So if you do all those things, plus anything else that kind of pops up over here, and you share my content with everybody that you know, everybody, and The Rock means everybody, then I can put my clothes back on. So that's on you, though. That's not